if we maintain that a Ugandan resident abroad is a foreigner and cannot participate in politics, Uganda Law Society will be shut down. Isaac Chimaze Semakade has been in exile for 1 year plus. He's abroad. He's running Uganda Law Society. He would be deemed a foreigner. And Uganda Law Society would be deemed agents of foreigners and would require to register with the Ministry of Internal Affairs.
In a current political climate where the state keeps persecuting people and state persecution has forced opposition leaders and critics out of the country, this bill sees it to be a theoretical threat. It is an immediate existential danger to political pluralism, economic survival, and Uganda's standing in the global community. To appreciate the gravity of this bill, I invite the committee to examine the chilling day-to-day realities that this law will create across all sectors of Uganda if passed. 1. Reclassifying Ugandan citizens as foreigners. The most insidious provision is hidden in Clause 1, which defines a foreigner to include B, a Ugandan citizen residing outside Uganda. There are numerous Ugandans who live in the diaspora and they remit over $2.5 billion US annually to our country. All these citizens are going to be deemed foreigners by this law. When did this government cease to care about its citizens to the extent of regarding them as non-citizens? Consider a political leader born in Uganda, a registered voter, and a duly elected party president who is forced into exile or out of the country due to state persecution. Under Clause 1B, the moment that citizen crosses the border to save their life, that law strips them of their Ugandan identity and reclassifies them as a foreigner. Because Clause 1 defines an agent of a foreigner as anyone who acts under the direction or control of a foreigner, and Clause 2.2a says the act applies to anyone who engages in political activities, for or in the interests of a foreigner. The domino effect is devastating, Honorable Chair and members. Imagine a party official in Kampala receives a WhatsApp voice note from this party president who is out of the country, instructing them to coordinate some party activities. Under this bill, by following those instructions, the party official here in Uganda is guilty of engaging in political activities for a foreigner who left the country. Under Clause 14, they face 10 years in prison. Under Clause 5.4, they face 20 years in prison. A local party administrator or aide, simply doing their job by taking instructions from their leader, becomes a felon.
Again, that is for the committee. We can come up with a better
no, this is, you see, for me, I speak law. The definition I'm using here is a definition in law. The application of this act, the application of this act in section 2, everything you read in this act should be read to apply to only this, because this is the application question. So you cannot talk about anything else other than this act only applies to this. So this is the application. So you can clarify it and make it better English and repeat it and say as stated as per the application of the law. But you see, this act applies to a person who is an agent of a foreigner. This act. So don't ask me, who has no dealings with a foreigner under this act. I have no business.
Exactly. Now 22 is saying a person or an agent of a foreigner.
So a person still, even the person,
yes.
Even the person,
as long as he's doing activities under 2.2.
Under 2.2, this it does not relate to my grandmother in the village who has no dealings with a foreigner. You cannot come.
So your grandmother can solicit from a foreigner.
My grandmother can solicit from a foreigner so long as they are not dealing under 2.2.
Okay. I think
by strangling these financial lifelines, the state is not just regulating organizations. It is performing a systematic shutdown of the only platforms left for scrutiny for those in power. Perhaps the most chilling betrayal lies in Section 1, the interpretation. In a single stroke of a pen, the architects of this bill have redefined our identity. This bill classifies any Ugandan citizen living in the diaspora, the very people who sent home about 1.2 billion shillings in remittances in 2025, as foreigners. Asking our own citizens to declare themselves foreign agents is not just a stamp to economic development. It is a step-for-step chess that criminalizes anyone working in international companies. Crucially, under this bill, one can be labeled a spy or handed more than a decade of imprisonment, not just for a proven crime, but even more, just a mere suspicion. That is the absolute discretion of the state to decide. Now, this isn't just a social crisis, it's an economic autopsy in waiting. Already the Uganda Bankers Association has issued a very stunning and desperate call to the Attorney General. They are sounding an alarm on Section 22, which caps foreign funding to 20,000 currency points. That's about 400 million Ugandan shillings, without written approval from the minister. In a country where banks rely on capital from foreign shareholders to meet the Bank of Uganda's minimum capital requirements, this is a self-inflicted heart attack. If the banks cannot raise capital from their international partners without navigating the political registration desk, they cannot lend. If they cannot lend, the economy stops breathing and suffocates to death. Even our most productive sectors are not safe. Consider tourism, which brings in about 5.8 trillion Ugandan shillings annually. Under Section 14, anyone working with foreigners, that includes guides, hoteliers, travel agents, they must register as foreign agents, a certificate that they must renew every after 2 years. This isn't regulation, it is stigma. We are effectively branding our ambassadors to the Pearl of Africa as registered tools for foreign influence, adding a layer of bureaucracy to a sector that should be celebrated, not to be policed. By labeling dissent as economic sabotage, the state is effectively outlawing the demand for accountability. The Clerk to Parliament has instructed the Committee on Defence and Internal Affairs to get public consultations for only 7 days, ignoring the standard 45-day period mandated by parliamentary rules of procedure. Let me be specific. That's Rule 129. So why the rush? We have seen this script before. It's not new. It has been implemented in countries like Russia, Georgia, and Kazakhstan. These laws do not protect sovereignty. They protect the state from accountability. Every Ugandan should care, because when sovereignty is weaponized, the truth becomes the casualty. So, this is a call to action for every Ugandan to raise your voice. Do not be deceived. This is not just a fight for civic space. It's not a fight for NGOs or for the wealthy who handle 400 million shillings and above. It is a curtailment for every single one of us. It is a siege on our right to connect, our right to work, our right to speak. Sovereignty belongs to the people. We must stay the course and insist that the law, contrary to our constitution, won't stand. I'm Solomon Serwanja, and this is my view on the state of our republic through my lens.